welcome to another scintillating edition of Newspaper Today, as we usually take you through several newspapers, that is a daily newspaper per day. Today is also going to be what interesting, as we always promise you, because my analyst, somebody that you can describe as a veteran, not only an ordinary veteran, somebody who has gone to the length and breadth of what of this globe and is able to talk about any topic. A complete literary man. And before that one, let us look at some of the papers that we have today. We have The Point, we have The Nation, we have Punch, again The Nation, Daily Sun, The Daily Times. Of course, we have This Day, Telegraph, Leadership, The Guardian, Daily Trust, Blueprints, Tribune, as well as a lot of them. Let us look at the high point in few of the paper before I go to the analysis of in the studio. Let's start from The Nation newspaper. It says Abdul Salami panel, rising violence threatens pool. Like when we have a rider, why I invited Buhari, Obi, Kwakwas or others by Wiki. Likewise, we have poverty doubles under Obi, says Soludo. And we are still going to look at some things credited to Soludo. From Punch, let us look at Punch. It's Soludo attacks Obi again, says ex-governor cannot win. That is from Soludo. Likewise, even from the Point, we still have Soludo still hammering this man, saying that Soludo rise of Peter Obi, and why and what are the circumstances. My analysis much here to expand and to give you the analytical illustration of what the statement means and what it can mean to an ordinary Nigerian. Likewise, from the Daily Times, we have Nigeria's exchange rate regime remain of concern. That is credited to the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Osinbajo, and that one is going to be. We have Rider FG retrace commitment to harmonize public workers' salary. Likewise, that is from This Day newspaper. We have NESG says priorities for Atiku, Tinubu, Obi, Kwakwaso, others. Those are the presidential, the common one, that is a presidential aspirants. Then we have from the New Telegraph, Abdul Salam Kuka troubled by verbal wars among political actors. That is for that. Then from Leadership, we have INEC audit reports indict APC, PDP, others for overspending. Wow. Then let us move on to The Guardian. Over 10 million Nigerians have diabetes. That is about over 10 million Nigerians have diabetes kills more than COVID-19. Cancer. That is from The Guardian. That is health-related story. From Daily Trust, we have grains. This one is about agriculture and economy. Grains prices crash days after record surge. Then from the Blueprint, we have NBC slams 2 million naira fine on Arise News. Others compliance in 2 weeks. Because of that one, I hope you have known the touch between the media and one presidential aspirant. Then we have from the Nigerian Tribune, we have Peter Obi knows he can't and won't win. Soludo again. Oh God. This one is very, very interesting today. Let us be taking it. As I told you that we have the hand that is capable to analyze, because here we are going to analyze stories ranging from politics, education, health, even foreign, likewise economy, and all facets of human life. Then the person that is capable is much in the studio. Mr. Sani Ajayi, the man with the compounded name. You are welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, we have it as we usually have it, and let us start from the Nation. Abdul Salami panel, rising violence threatens schools. Then what are we aspiring for? If a statesman can be saying that.
I don't know, because when you see Bishop Kuka, you know, and the former head of state, Abdusalam, you know, coming and calling the people together that let there be peaceful election. You know, I think it's the best thing we can always crave for. And for me, I don't know why people must always make it a do or die game. And it's only here in Nigeria because when you talk about Europe and America, it's not so. And why is it not so? Simple. Because the politicians are the least paid. Yes, they are of all the professions on the planet of Earth, the politicians in America, you know, are the least paid. A senator, you know, earns about $742,000 per annum, whereas this is a take home of somebody in 2 weeks. Yeah,
Even a senator richer than the president of America.
yeah, the president now, I think it's about $400 and something thousand. And then it has been alleged severally that even here, our own senator and the rest of them goes on with over $2 million. So when you look at all these things, that's why people will now want to fight and fight and quench themselves. But over there, there's nothing to show, except the principal officers at the Senate. The rest are not entitled to free housing, free security, not even a man of war, you know, free automobile. No, they're not entitled to all those things. Free automobile, they're not entitled. So everybody has to cater for himself from that salary. And that's why most of the time they travel by coach from their constituencies to the capital in Washington. That's why most of the time some of those congressmen and women, you know, they have to share apartment together. And those who could not afford to share apartment, they use their offices as their residence when they're in Washington. Yeah. So why should people now be fighting when there's nothing over there? But right here in Nigeria is an investment.
It's an investment, everlasting one.
Everlasting one. And even banks also even, you know, lend them money to go for it. So these are the reasons why.
I want you to look at this one. That is taken from the Sun newspaper. Anger as underaged, dead listed in new voter register.
Well, we can't run away from that, you know, because you know, Nigeria, we always keep on saying it. Nigeria is conglomerate of nationalities. Our cultures are diverse, and our ways of life are not the same. And most times we make mistakes. The Yorubas want to judge other people by their own standards. It's not true. It can't be so. There are still parts of the country today that people still get married at the age of 12 and 13. Anyway, and if somebody is already married at that age, are you not going to tell her that she is not eligible to vote? So these are the issues that we need to, and that's why we keep on talking about restructuring, that we take into cognizance, you know, our traditions, our cultures, and the rest of them like that. So every state can do things in its own way. But there must be a common law that guides all of us. But whether that law is going to work, only God knows. You know, and like we always say too, in the US, you know, elections are conducted in the states, and there's nothing like central INEC, you know, but here it is controlled. So when they talk about that age, I think it's still going to be with us for a long time until the politicians start handling less, and then they are paid like civil servants, and they know it is nothing but sacrifice. Yeah.
I wanted to look at the Punch. The Punch today is among the newspapers that eat the ex-governor. Soludo attacks Obi again, says ex-governor cannot win.
You know, Soludo is not attacking Obi. You know, I read his submission, you know, pages and pages, and this guy explained everything in detail. It is just the Obi's, you know, foot soldiers that are causing confusion. Even they attack me too on the social media, and we always tell them that let's put all the votes of the Igbos together. You know, children of about maybe 2 years old to the elderly of about over 200 years old, and all put together for Obi. Obi cannot win. It's the truth. There's no way they can make 12 million. You know, President Buhari had 12 million about 3 times. He never won. 12 million 3 times. He never won. So, and all the Igbos together in this country are not up to that. So all their children and everything, put them together. My wife is from there. Put them together. Let's say all of them. Don't even allow them to cast any ballot. Just say devolve voter. He cannot win. Why can he not win? The Constitution says somebody must have at least 25% in 2/3 of the federation, 24 states. That's the one. Number 2 must have the highest number of votes. So, if it's only just have 5 states in the East, then what are we talking about?
But when we are talking about good name, can't we say that when he was the governor, how he ruled is enough as a campaign, as we have in it for Asiwaju. Asiwaju ruled only in Lagos.
Yes.
Then people embrace him. Then Obi also ruled in his own state. Then I hope that one is enough to canvass for.
When we juxtapose that, that is why he's having a lot of problems. Because he came out to start saying, he was a saint. And if somebody now tries to say he's a saint, then people will now hope he's covered. And when they discover, he laughed. It could be alleged, it could be whatever, even including Panorama File and the rest of them like that. And then he talked about Anambra, that he has done this, has done that, and at the end of the day, it is discovered he didn't do nothing. And that's the truth. And again, as he was still talking, the Hausa and the Yoruba communities in Anambra State, they came out to say during his own regime, they were maltreated, and he complained to him, and he told them that was not their state, they should go away. So they relocated to Asaba. That is a Delta state, and they're still living there to this day. The doctors also went on strike. For about 10 months, he said they can go to hell. Did he pay them? So people should talk less. So he's just making himself to be a saint, the best of them all. And then he talked about Anambra, and then a guy is now coming to say, look, you have not done anything. Somebody like Wike does not need to talk. Even people who have jaundiced eyes can see how this guy is commissioning projects to the extent that as he's hammering all these politicians, including Mr. President, he was still given an honor, recently by Mr. President. So this is it. And then when you go to Anambra, what do you have there? There's nothing to show for it. And people don't understand one thing. Shurin has been given the ticket for the PDP. And then I'm going to say he's a socialist. This is a mistake in Nigeria. This guy started with APGA. Why was in APGA? He swore that he would never leave Africa, and if he left Africa, so should happen to him then. Now he left Africa.
That's the word of politicians.
Yeah, he left Africa, and then he joined PDP, a Republican party. An average Igbo man is a Republican. An average Yoruba man is a Democrat. This is whether we like it or not. That is a Fulani man is a Republican, but the Yorubas will continue to kill them, so that they will now be winning election and become the president. Whereas these guys are Republicans by nature. So, at the end of the day, Obi himself is still a Republican. Obi himself is still not a Democrat in the real sense of the word Democrat and Republican. So, but he's a full soldiers who not allow anybody to breathe. So, Soludo, a man of truth, is only coming out to say this is the way it is. He wishes him well, but he said they must quite correctly, and they must be able to contextualize it. So everybody should know the truth. And because he said property at his own time, doubles. Exactly. This guy holds a PhD in economics. And this guy was once a governor of the central bank. And this guy was during his own tenure that we were able to settle our debt portfolio. It was at his own time also that they were able to leave not less than $40-something billion in our foreign reserve. So he knows what he's talking about. It was on his own time too that the dollar was just, anybody can pick it up. Unlike now that the dollar is something else, and it was during his own time too that whatever we were using in the country was domiciled in our currency. So
before we leave that one, there is a writer that Soludo is now advising, possibly saying that negotiate with Tinubu. Atiku Soludo advises Southeast.
He has told them.
Then where is he?
I say I read everything. He told them point blank that look at the Yorubas. The Yorubas are schemers. The Yorubas are strategists. The Yorubas, know that at the end of the day, they only cannot win this. It's only 6 states in the whole country. So what do? They try to kind of, culturalize and bring everybody together, and they have somebody who is not just a strategist politically, is a magician, is an entrepreneur and everything, is a technocrat, Tinubu. So what did you do? While others were just wasting their time, he got Ribadu, a Fulani man, he sponsored him on the ACN. he's a Fulani. He knew at that point in time that the people there might prefer a Fulani, or like now that people are now white, that there's something called Hausa Fulani. Hausa is an Hausa Fulani. Period. There's no single Hausa man who is a member of a Mitiala. Everything is done in Fufude. So when he realized that the guy couldn't make it, he still stood by. Then he picked Atiku Abubakar, another Fulani. He could have come out at that point in time to say he wanted to be. He waited. Then thereafter again, he picked another one again. President Muhammadu Buhari, who has tried 3 times and failed 3 times, and at the last time he picked Nigeria, he picked him again. He was doing that to really penetrate these guys. And all the governors over there, he picked them. Like people like the governor of Kano, the governor of Kebbi, and the rest of them. So they all became his friends. And then he said, it is now the turn of the Yorubas. Tell me, who among all these people, is a friend of Obi?
I hope he has his own allies too.
No,
yes, he has.
It's a phenomenon. Just like the guy.
Some people are conversing for him.
It's a phenomenon.
Conversing for him from the north itself. He has his own allies too.
No, he does. He has his own followers. But have you forgotten, even in recent times, then I want to quickly bring into the first. They just had the election in Kenya. The other guy also was like this Peter Obi. He's all over. He was going up and down in t-shirt and face cap and the rest of them like that. And the social media was a god for him. He lost. He remembered the road to his village. You also remember the governor of Kogi of recent. All those something all over the country. Right, everywhere it was people all over. Yeah, we also didn't we? All over the country. It have to be Bello. It has to be Bello. Or the day that it has to be Bello. I don't know the question.
Okay, I want us to move on to security issue, because it's a very sensitive issue. It's a writer from the Punch, our newspaper. It says military places 95 million naira bounty on 19 bandits. Kingpins. Then can we say that we are on the top of?
We are on top of the game. No, we really try.
The kidnapping is still ongoing.
The kidnapping cannot be wished away in one day. It did not start in one day. That's the truth about it. It has been nurtured over the time. It has to do with our value system. It has to do with our sense of materialism. It has to do, glorifying people who are supposed to be stoned. It has to do with the police, being ignored during the military. The police were, was not. The police command was not militarized, like in other regions, in other climes, whereby the police itself is the closest to the people, and they have the latest weapons to defend the people. But in Nigeria, during the military, it was not so, because they thought they could plan a coup, and they were supposed to be controlling them. They see them as the other side of the forces, and that the military is the only force. So these are the things we need to look at. So, and then when we now say, okay, we want to get rid of everything, it's not going to happen that way. It's like a school curriculum. We just say, oh, listen. Just say, oh, listen, we want to cancel elementary school. It's not going to be in one day. And again, this has to do with our value system. Nigeria right now is so monetized that everybody is so materialistic, and people are weighed by. Even
kidnapping has now become a lucrative job.
It's a lucrative job, and then Nigeria is the Nigerian people are sheepish human beings. They follow too much. If they say there is no fuel today, and somebody carries a jerry can and goes to the gas station and is able to get, you'll be telling people they are selling petrol there, and all of them will kill.
From that point, I want us to move into the core business story. Let's take it from the Point newspaper. It says currency redesign. CBN pledges to protect Nigeria in unbanked, undeserved rural areas. What will be the fate of a common man?
Well, I don't know the fate of the common man, but again, you see, our culture of saving itself has to be looked into. Because when you go to even our banking system is not up to date. I'm saying it right here. I'm talking from experience. I'm not going to name any bank. Do they send us alerts? They don't send us alerts. We don't even know when money, gets into our account. We don't even know when money is withdrawn. We don't know anything. Yes. And the charges are so bogus. And you wonder, what are they charging for? They introduce ATM. ATM now is not a good mine for the banks. You know, so everything like that. So people are being forced to now put their money in their houses. I'm talking of the peasants and the common people. I'm not talking of the rogues who are stacking away millions and billions. But the common
trailers,
people, you know, in trailers,
storage,
everywhere, you know. But the common people, they believe very sincerely that the process of banking is so tedious and it doesn't make any sense. That's the truth. You know, most times we pick our phone and call them, look, I don't know what's going on with my account. I have not got any alert. What's happening? This and that and that. They will send us money, you know, maybe our relations. And they will have to be phoning maybe after 2 months. Did you not get it? They said, no, I've not got anything. There will be no alert. So one has to not drive to the bank to not say, excuse me.
It's a network problem.
It's a network problem. So all these things have to be removed before they can start introducing new measures.
Are you saying that we are yet to be ripe enough to embrace that extreme?
Well, you know, we're overripe, but unfortunately, we are people who are lazy, complacent in positions of relevance. This is it. You know, and that's why I picked the bank, because when you talk about Naira being changed, this and that, you have to go to the bank. You know, even when you talk of the exchange and rest of them, you have to go to the bank. Most of the bank workers are just lazy. That's the truth. You know, you want to ask them for information, one can spend hours, and at the end of the day, the same information is not given. I've been calling my bank now.
But they have customer. They have customer.
They have the customer thing. You know, like a bank. You know, they say, okay, so you now call the customer thing. By the time one is finishing with them, you could have spent 200 naira plus. You know, something that's supposed to be free. And then again, the same reason why one called will still continue to reoccur. So you now wonder, why did you call?
Okay, we are still on business news. Let us look at the Daily Times. This one is credited to the Vice President of Nigeria. That is from the powerful source. Nigeria's exchange rate regime remains of concern.
Remains of concern. It does remain of concern because its currency ran tripping. Everybody knows that now. You know, the central bank says so much, and then you go to wherever, and you find it double, triple, and rest of them like that. So they should look at themselves. I remember when PP or Shipajo acted for a few days, the currency, you know, locally appreciated, and the dollar just fell. So they should look at themselves in the mirror and do the right thing.
Likewise, we have FG reiterates commitment to harmonize public workers' salaries. Can it be real?
Well, if it should be real, that would be fine. But first and foremost, they have to look at the politicians' salaries first. And they'll have to look at the economy. You know, right now, the budget is based on borrowing. I mean, if you are borrowing now to do a lot of time, we're going to borrow again when the salaries of workers are harmonized. I don't think so. And I also think that in this country, too, we have so many ministries that are useless. It's as simple as that. There's a ministry that should be self-sustaining and self-sufficient, and yet, you know, they're just there like that, for the sake of it. So gone are those days when we employ people for the sake of employing people. You know, look at OSBC, everybody's busy, everybody's working. They go to the ministries around the country, they do nothing. You know, and there's so many like that, and no government can be able to retrench them or send them home. You know, so these are the issues. So they want to harmonize when Nigeria gets back, you know, to that economic, relevance. Then we can do that. But for now, that we are borrowing to fund our budget, better don't do things that will compound issues. And this government is already, you know, taking stock to go. So I think it just has to do that. The federal government has to take its stock.
Let's use the last minute for foreign. And yesterday, Ghana president sacked a minister of finance over a particular imbalance in the job. Then, how do you see that one to the progress of Africa and Ghana in particular?
Ghana in particular has always been number one, you know, for a long time. You know, there was a time also that a minister was going to work and was discussing with, you know, $1 million naira or 2 million cedis or whatever like that, and the driver overheard, you know, the minister, you know, and then to the authority, I tell you what, he was sacked.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ajayi. God bless you. Very good for being part of the show today. We cannot go beyond this one. I'm Osbc Abidjali. We are going to meet another time. Bye for now.
mi ká lọ gbogbo ọmọ ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ìpínlẹ̀ ọmọlúwàbí gbogbo Nàìjíríà pátápátá ìjẹ́ lọ Osbc ilé àwíyé lókè balẹ̀ gangan ní ìlú Òṣogbo òròkè àsálà orí ìróyòrè móròdé o sílò omi o dírẹ́bà gbé mi òdodo ọ̀rọ̀ o dírẹ́bà gbé